Hello, Keith Rucker, VintageMachinery.org. Well guys, it's been kind of a rough week for me. I came down with a pretty nasty case of the flu toward the end of last week, and was actually on the road traveling and started feeling sick, got home and spent all weekend just kind of hanging around the house, not doing much, and finally got up and went to the doctor one day last week, and they said they were pretty sure I had the flu. Had all the symptoms. My test actually came back negative, but they said sometimes they get some false negatives on that. But anyway, bottom line, it's been a rough week. I've been spending most of my time in the house, and I've actually was off of work a lot last week. I had planned on being out here in the shop working, but instead I spent my time recovering. Good news is that I am on the road to recovery. I'm feeling a lot better. Probably not going to spend all day out in the shop today, but have got a little bit of stuff I need to get done. I thought I'd share that with you. And start off with what's in the back of my truck here. So picked up an air compressor this week. And this actually came from one of my YouTube viewers who lives up in Northwest Georgia, and he contacted me by email about a week or so ago. Said he had purchased a big industrial air compressor for next to nothing at an auction several years ago, and ever since it's just kind of been sitting outside his house up under a tree, under a tarp. And he said, you know, I'm never going to do anything with this thing. He said it was just too good of a deal to pass up, but he just bid on it and bought it. But anyway, he was kind enough. He said, I heard that I needed a good air compressor. He was kind enough to give this to me. So I went up and picked it up. Actually, earlier this week, that was before I found out that I had the flu, or probably had the flu. I wasn't feeling very good that day at all. It was about an 8-hour round trip. Went up, it was cold. Anyway, we got this thing loaded on my truck pretty quick, and I was back out of there, and I didn't get a chance to spend a lot of time up there with him, partially because I was just feeling so bad. But anyway, we're going to get this unloaded this morning. We put it in the truck with a chain hoist, and we're going to do the same thing here. I got a chain hoist, and I'm just over one of the timbers out here in my shop, which should be plenty strong enough to hold this up. I've picked up stuff at least this heavy on that before. One of these days, I do need to get a real gantry crane in here that would be more appropriate for this, but for today, we're just going to be using the beam in the shop. So anyway, let's unload this thing. So I've got my chain fall already hooked up. Again, we're just over a beam in here, which is probably 3 times the size of the tree limb that we loaded it up on. So I think we'll be fine. My chain hoist is not the greatest in the world, but hopefully it'll get the job done. I think I'm gonna scoot around to the other side here. All right, well, that's as high as we're going to go. We'll have to ease the truck out from underneath this thing and then let it down. Coming down. There we go. think we have it safely on the ground. And thankfully we did not pull any kind of Brian block tricks here. Sorry, Brian, couldn't resist. If you don't watch Brian Block's YouTube channel, you need to. It's got a lot of good stuff on there. But here we go. We have an air compressor. Let's check it out. So this is really the first chance I've had to look at this air compressor and kind of evaluate it. I don't know, and he didn't know the condition. He said he felt like it was operational, but he's never seen it run. So, you know, I'm going to hope for the best, but at the same time, I'm going to assume there was probably something wrong with it. We're going to have to figure out all that and work through it. But the compressor head here was made by Dresser. It's a Series 400. I don't see a date or anything like that on the compressor itself, but see, I may pop this cover off and just see if I can turn it and see what it looks like when I do that. Give me a sec. Wow, what a mess. You got spider web, wasp nest, dirt dauber's nest. Looks like the insects and spiders have been having fun in here. Let me get some of this cleaned out. See if I can get these insect galleys out of here. And let's turn it over by hand. Well, that's good. Everything seems to be turning freely. I don't feel any great resistance. I don't hear any air pumping either, though. Well, maybe a little bit. No, I don't know what was that. I'm not sure which way this is supposed to turn. But, I don't know. I may hear a little bit of air pumping in there. I can't really tell. But, like I said, the good news is that it is turning. Nothing's froze up. And I don't hear any terrible noises. So, anyway, let's continue on inspecting this thing. Over here on the motor, let's see, we've got a Leeson. It's a 5 horsepower. I saw that right here. It's a 3-phase motor. Currently wired for 460 volts. Hopefully we can swap that over to 220. Shouldn't be a huge problem, hopefully. I don't see a date. Yeah, it's got both. Actually, I don't know. It's for either 220 or 460, so I'm not sure what it's wired to now. We'll have to look and see. I don't see a date or anything like that on there. Well, here we go. Date code C95A. So I'm going to guess that that was made in 1995, which would mean this is probably not the original motor on this, because the unit's a little bit older than that, at least based on the tank date. And I'll show that in a minute. So I don't know if you can read this or not, but the tank was certified by Manchester, Georgia. I guess it's got a National Builders Code on there. Date that it was made was 1984, was the year. It's got a working pressure of 200 psi at 650 degrees Fahrenheit, and there's some other test information on there. The tank appears to be in good shape, but we're going to do some inspecting and checking this out as well. All right, well, quick inspection, and it looks real promising. I'm very hopeful that, you know, this thing's going to be in good shape. So game plan, what are we going to do? So first thing I think I'm going to do is probably wire it up, plug it up, and just see if it turns on and runs. Probably not going to try to compress a bunch of air in here because I don't know about the tank, but I do want to evaluate, you know, A, does the motor work? B, does the compressor work? Once we determine that, then we can decide what we're going to do on the top end. You know, I'm hoping that this motor's good. If not, we'll replace it. I'm hoping that the head's good over there. If not, I'll either rebuild it or send it off to get rebuilt. I know a place here. There's a place here in town that works on these. There's also a really good place up in make in Georgia. I think you can just take it in and basically trade it out for a rebuilt one, and it's not terribly expensive as long as you're trading in the old one. So we'll evaluate that situation and go from there. The tank. One thing that I am planning to do is we're going to strip this thing completely down, take everything apart, clean it all up. This tank's going to be inspected. I'm probably not going to send it off and have it certified and all that. It's going to be working at my home shop here, but just for safety's sake, at a minimum, we're going to do a good visual inspection on the outside. We've got some handhold covers we can take out. I'm going to do a visual inspection on the inside, make sure there's not any severe pitting or anything like that on the inside of the tank. And then I'll probably do a hydro test on it. And that's something that, I can do right here at home. I don't have to bring anybody in to do that. So it has a 200-pound working pressure indicated on there. I don't know on air compressors. I think that normally they will test them for 50% greater than that. So that would be 300 pounds that the tank would be tested. I know on steam, usually test it to twice the working pressure, which would be 400 pounds. I need to do some research on that. My working pressure is probably going to be 150 pounds. So, we'll probably at least, run it up to, 220 pounds, something like that. If not, go all the way up to 250 or 300 even. I don't know. I got to do some testing on our research on that. We'll come up with a game plan, but I'm going to do a hydro test on this tank, make sure it's safe, and we'll probably do a video on that and talk about, why you need to do that and how you do that when the time comes. But all in all, I think we got a good air compressor. Hopefully, at least be able to turn it into one. Plans for this is I'm going to set it outside the shop over there on the north wall, kind of over there near where my phase converter is. And we're going to probably also be having a project down the road to get the shop piped for air. And I'm looking at some options on that right now and trying to come up with a game plan on that. And I don't know exactly when that'll happen. Probably all depends on budgets and what have you. I'm also planning on doing a lot of work on this side of the shop this winter, so we may just get it running for the short term and then do the piping in here at a later date. But that is on the plans to get this shop piped for air. So anyway, nice little air compressor. Thank you very much. This was an awesome gift, and it's still going to be some work, but this will be a fun little project, and I'm sure you guys will get to see it on YouTube. So with that, let me go. I want to show you one other item that came into the shop in the last week or so that's equally, if not maybe even a little bit more exciting than this. So let's go over there and take a look at that. Well, I'm really excited to say that I've got a welder for the shop. Yay! Something that I have been needing for some time now. And this was actually acquired from a viewer. He did not want to be named or where his location was at. Which I will respect, but he had contacted me via email, told me he had this really nice Miller Synchrowave 200 Tig Welder that I believe he purchased it back around 2009. He was working on a project, he needed it. He said it only has about 20 hours of use on it, and it's just been sitting in his garage and in his way, and it needed to go. And anyway, he contacted me, and we worked out a deal. So, and I'll just leave it at that. But anyway, very nice unit, very low mileage on it, and he threw in quite a few accessories with it. A bunch of tungsten probes here, a whole set of tips and stuff for the TIG outfit. This is a combination TIG as well as stick welder. You can use it for either one. Came with a foot pedal, and even came with a customer-owned tank. Which I think is also out of date and it's going to have to get certified, but we won't be doing that one at home. But anyway, very nice setup here. I have not even had a chance to plug this thing in. It kind of I picked it up when I was on a trip last week, and I got it unloaded in the shop, and like I said, I've been sick. I've got to do a little bit of electrical work to get the right plug over here where I can get it plugged in and check it out. But he told me it was working. I have no reason to believe that it isn't. So anyway, real excited about this. This is going to be a learning curve for me. I've been wanting to get a TIG welder for some time, but I'll tell you guys, I have not used a TIG welder in close to 30 years. Back when I worked in the machine shop, we had one, and I did a little bit of TIG welding in there, but not a lot. I'm by no means an expert, so I've got a lot to learn about this unit, and I'm real excited about getting the opportunity to come out here and play with this thing and learn some new techniques with TIG welding. The stick welding I can do, and it's nice that this is set up where it can do either or. There's a lot of times where I think TIG welding is really going to come in handy for me. There's been a lot of times, I can't tell you how many times that I've done a project, particularly when I'm brazing something, and I'll get a comment from someone, why didn't you TIG that? Well, the reason I didn't TIG it is I didn't have a TIG welder. I got a TIG welder now. I'll still be using the torch for doing some brazing on cast iron, but depending on what it is, sometimes depending on the circumstances, you can TIG cast iron. I guess you always can. I think sometimes the torch is a better method, and we can talk about that some more down the road. I'm also probably a lot more proficient at brazing with the torch than I am TIG welding right now, but we're gonna try to work on that as well. But anyway, I'm real excited about this, and you know, we may do some videos down the road, you know, learning how to do some TIG welding. I don't know, or I may just do that on my own and just show you guys my skills once I do a little perfecting with it. But very excited to have this, and anyway, I want to thank the person who I worked out the deal with on this. It was a good deal, hopefully, for both of us, and I greatly appreciate my viewers out there. You guys are awesome. So anyway, Miller TIG welder for the shop. Well guys, two really nice new additions to the shop this week, and again I want to thank both of the viewers who helped me out with these two items. You guys are way too kind. It's a lot of fun, particularly when I get to go meet people face to face. And I got to meet both the guys face to face, and both of them kind of told me the same story. They were just happy to help me out because they feel like I've helped them out through my videos. And anyway, it's always a real nice blessing to be able to go out and see people face to face and get thanked face to face. And this has been a good week. So with that, that's probably going to be a wrap on this video. I'm probably actually going to go back in the house and kind of take it easy the rest of the day today. I'm a little bit late doing my filming this week because I've been sick. I'm trying not to push things too hard. I need to get over this because next week, starting on Monday, I've got a college student going to be coming in that's home for Christmas break and is going to be around more or less for the next 2 weeks. Obviously, we got Christmas in there, so that we won't be working every single day. But he's going to be helping me do some work in and around the shop. And I've got a list much longer of things I want to get accomplished than we probably will be able to get accomplished. So, we're going to be working on a lot of that next week. So I need to get over this crud. And to help with that, I'm going to probably stay out of the shop at least today. I may try to get out here a little bit on Saturday. I don't know. I'm probably well enough, but I'm not quite over it, and I don't want to go into a relapse. So I'm going to play it kind of safe. So but anyway, with that, that'll be a wrap. Guys, thank you as always for watching, and Merry Christmas coming up this next week.